need to talk to IT people.
Tiffany's up.
Tiff.
Zed, I'm going to the seat in the back. Literally, it's thinking. Sorry.
It's buffering.
Yeah.
Okay, start over. Noise.
I'm just gonna touch upon my email.
Shush.
It's just letting you know, Tiff, what you got to look forward to.
Everybody's talking about you.
Alrighty, we'll call this meeting to order, if it's all right with Clerk Patterson. Tiff, please take the roll.
Councilman Bundy.
Present.
Councilman Brennan.
Present.
Councilman McCain.
Present.
Councilman Stokes.
Present.
Mayor Sykes.
Present. Let the record reflect that we do have a quorum for the Monday, May 10th, 2020 meeting at 6:04, so 6 p.m. Really quick, before we go down to item 2, Councilman, I'm going to pull the Cody Black decision on Planning and Zoning Commission to recommend to approve a request by Cody Hunter Black for the annexation of zoning of C4 of the Meadows Mobile Home Park located at 1075 Air Base Road and adjacent to parcel with conditions. So with that, I will run down to item number 2, recognizing people in the audience. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes. If anybody would like to get up and speak, now is your chance. Would anybody like to get up and speak for 3 minutes? Come on down. Please state your name and...
My name is Liberty Trausch, Trausch, and I'm here to talk about the Thunderbolt proposal because the fact that it was pushed off of tonight's meeting I think is kind of sneaky, but I wanted to talk about it anyway. I have been to the last 2 planning and zoning meetings, and they were packed, they were full house. And at the end of the last meeting, we had a commissioner say, I think it's important we need to listen to the people, so I'm voting no. We had another commissioner state, if we vote for this, it's going to open a floodgate. And we had yet another commissioner state, he went through the comprehensive plan and pointed out 5 or 6 specific things that the developer was not willing to do, was not willing to collaborate on, and said at the end of that, it's my way or no way. If you vote yes for that proposal, you're going to let that developer know and every other developer know that they can come into Mountain Home and do whatever they want because we're willing just to roll over, because they were not willing to follow any of that comprehensive plan. So we need to get that Thunderbolt back on the proposal, and it needs to be voted no, because you are all elected officials, which means you work for us, and everybody in those last 2 meetings said vote no. So we need to get a no vote on that, or Boise's gonna come in and they're gonna do whatever they want, and pretty soon we've lost control of our town because they're now making the decisions, because we will just go with whatever they say. So I'm asking you to vote no on the Thunderbolt proposal. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Liberty.
Would anybody else like to get up and speak for 3 minutes?
Oh, yeah.
Come on now.
Linda Bennett. I've been at the last 2 meetings and follow what she says about how everybody was not against development of that property. They were against the type of development that it was. And also I find a little bit weird that in Wednesday's paper, I put in a letter to the editor requesting people that were against that were at that meeting, to be here for this council meeting, because we were told by this planning and zoning that we would be on this week. So I find that odd and mean. Portland used to send people down to Salt Lake to study urban sprawl. And I don't think we want any type of development to come into Mountain Home that is going to deteriorate the value of this small town. I went over to East States North, and I think it's nicknamed Easter Street. If you go, it's over by the bowling alley. Those little houses on little lots, those lots are 40 feet wide. I measured. So the fact that this developer wants to come in and put 30-foot lots with 2-story homes, you would, if you went down that street, it would be like going through a slot canyon. You'd be just 2-story houses on both sides close. There would be no sunshine coming through, no place for kids to play, and it's not a good development for this area. It needs to be modified, not stopped, but just modified. The developer, when a compromise was offered, they said, no, we're not going to do that. We can't. It's got to be this or nothing, which is like blackmailing the city, if you ask me. So I'm asking you to reconsider the developer's proposal, that maybe the lots could be bigger, wider, the houses. She also said that those houses, even the small little ones, are not going to be affordable. Yes, construction costs are going up, land prices are going up. They are not going to be affordable for low-income housing, or I don't know who forever, but if you will build houses that people want, they will come. It's like the dream field. Build it and they will come. You don't want a bunch of transients in there. I mean, you might get airmen out there renting for 2 years, but in the meantime, they're going to be having parties, and it gives me nightmares to even think about what that could turn into. Having 200 homes that are just squished together. It's not a lifestyle that we should have here in Mountain Home. It needs to be livable. It needs to be accessible, which is the 2-story homes are not accessible to those people with disabilities or elderly. I moved here because I didn't want stairs anymore. I'm certainly not going to climb up the stairs to go to bed, in a 2-story house. So I'm just asking you to reconsider the proposal. Not against the development, just what's being proposed. Thank you.
Thanks, Linda.
Would anybody else like to get up? Hearing none, we'll run down to item number 4, the consent agenda. 3. 3. Councilman, do you have any comments, questions? Before council goes, I just want to let everyone know the reason it wasn't on tonight's agenda for vote is we are waiting for the findings of facts. We can't vote on something that we don't have the findings of facts done and completed, so that's why
Can you tell us what facts they're waiting for?
the findings of facts of the planning and zoning.
Legal requirement for any conditional use permit that findings of fact, conclusions of law are reviewed by the Planning and Zoning Commission prior to it being capable of going to the City Council.
Okay.
And then that recommendation is then printed and publicized in the paper. And in order for somebody in the public to have a meaningful opportunity to be able to understand what the recommendation is, simply saying recommendation of denial or recommendation of approval is not enough information. So that means you have to have approved findings of fact, conclusions of law, that the Planning and Zoning Commission says, yes, that's exactly what I said. And then they approve those, and then it's able to move up. So anybody, it was flat out a mistake for anybody to say, oh yeah, it's gonna be on the next meeting. That's an legal impossibility. So to the extent that anybody thought it was supposed to be today, I mean, as soon as I heard that, I was like, it is most certainly not. It would be unlawful, and then you'd just be handing an appeal over. So it was that whoever said that mistake, it doesn't follow Idaho law at all.
Tell your chairman.
He's the one that
It's
told
fine,
us.
but that was not going to be happening today. As soon as I found that out, I'm like, no, you can't.
We want you guys to know, we're very transparent. We want you guys to know, we do everything by the book, by the law. So, yeah, I'm sorry that our P&Z chairman had stated this. We apologize on our end for that,
But
so.
it wasn't, we didn't, it was just, you need to actually.
You were big sneaky.
No, it's not sneaky. It's just literally P&Z has to say, yep, this is what we agree. And so the recommendation can't be just the word yes or no. There actually has to be findings.
It's gotta go back to them.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's why.
Okay. Councilman, sorry, go, any councilman,
Mayor?
anything? Councilman, McCain?
I'd just like to thank you ladies for showing up tonight, even though we can't do anything for you tonight, but we did listen and we understood what you said.
I just hope you remember.
Thank you
Won't
for
be a
listening.
problem there.
Thank you for listening. I appreciate that.
Mr. Mayor,
Councilman Bundy?
different note, but I thank you guys for coming and talking to us. It's always appreciative when you come and participate in this great process that we call local government, so thank you. On a separate note, but 2 Saturdays ago, for those of you that got to go downtown for the Makers Market, what a great event.
boy.
There were hundreds of people in downtown Mountain Home enjoying the Hub Plaza, enjoying our new sidewalks. Miss Cherry that put it on, and whoever worked with her, the Makers Market, they deserve a bunch of kudos, because that was a great event, and I think that we're well on our way this year to having some fun outdoor events, and I'm sure the mayor's got some news on the 4th of July and all those kind of things that we're going to be doing this summer, so I think we're on track for some good outdoor events in town, so thank you.
Councilman Brennan?
Kind of two questions. I guess one is directed towards legal counsel and the other might be directed towards you, but this Thunderbolt landing is a hot topic item, and I can't speak for the other council in the communication they've had with the citizens, but I've had a lot of calls. A lot of people reach out to me, and I know the public hearing is kind of, I don't know if it's limited to planning and zoning, but really what I'd like to ask is if one were allowed, and two, you would allow it on the agenda for our own public hearing, so that I can hear the comments of the citizens, and specifically, and I'm not going to address one person, but what about the plan you don't like, not just that you don't like the plan. And so that information will help me make a decision, the very specifics. Because you can't just say I don't like any of it. That doesn't work for government. We have to have specifics. I do, anyways. I'm not speaking for them. And so, one, are we allowed to have our own meeting? And if you consider it, even if it's maybe a special meeting.
Absolutely. If it's legally all right. Okay.
676509 says that the Planning and Zoning Commission must conduct at least one public hearing. So at least one, which means a second can be done at the city council stage. The only, as I just alluded to, the only thing that's required is that the findings of fact, conclusions of law produced by the Planning and Zoning Commission is something that you have reviewed, and that you have reviewed the record. If you conduct a subsequent public hearing, then anything that happened at the P&Z levels still matters, of course, but then now you're providing more due process. So no, that's always perfectly allowed to do that.
So,
You'd have to publish it
right.
along with the recommendation of P&Z.
So we wait for P&Z to have their meeting and sign off on those findings of facts, then we can have ours with a 2-week notice-ish.
Yes.
And then, is the council, does the rest of the councilmen want to do that, or?
Well, Mr. Mayor, we've also, excuse me, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Councilman Bundy?
We've also made some requests for
The developer.
additional looks at the plan, so we could look at multiple plans. So,
I could tell you, just for your own edification, not necessarily this project, but for any projects that are like this in the future too, is you just had two people basically provide testimony, which it's fine, we want to be open in open government, but then you'd have to disclose what was said at some other meeting. And so having a public hearing actually would cure. So if we didn't have another public hearing, then you would say, I spoke to Mr. A and Mr. A said this. I spoke to Mr. B and Mr. B said this. And Mr. C said this to me. Mr. D stopped me in the grocery store and said this. And then you have to say, here's the following things that they said, but and then here's the important part. I am willing to listen to the testimony that's provided at a duly noticed public hearing and render my decision impartially and fairly. Now, you guys just said it in a public meeting, so that's fine there, but that's the point of the process. I mean, I realize that the butcher, the baker, and the candlestick maker are all going to want to tug your ear and grab you in the grocery store and all that, but what's important is that you render your decisions impartially and objectively based upon the evidence that's presented in a public hearing format. So when you start having a P&Z and when one of those hearings are very contentious, sometimes it's a pretty darn good idea to have another public hearing at the city council level just to cure any of those potential ex parte contacts like that. So,
Mr. Mayor?
And that would be somewhere in the middle, excuse me. Go ahead.
Councilman
I was just gonna say, so that's gonna be somewhere into the middle to the end of May then, before that public hearing can take effect then. So,
I would be totally for this. I just worry about the venue. I think we would need a bigger space for,
It's gonna be later than that,
Yeah.
because we have to wait till we get the findings of fact from P and Z, which I don't know when their next meeting is, right?
whenever P&Z next meets, they approve their findings of fact, conclusions of law. That then cues it
Right.
to allow for the notice for the next
next Monday.
public
P&Z
hearing.
should be-
Okay, so they'll meet on the 17th. Well, you can't get it in the 19th paper.
Right,
So
no.
you'll get it in the 26th paper, the 5th paper. You won't be able to have it till at least after, does it have to go 2 full weeks? So does it have to go after the 12th?
It has to be 14 days.
Right.
It's a misnomer to say that it has to be published twice.
So-
We do that because it provides more notice. but
Correct.
Technically,
Till the end of May.
We're in June.
yeah.
Because you can get it in May 26th is the first publication.
Okay, all right.
If we, I don't know when the 14 days is up after that, so. But
I know, I'm
we
enjoying
normally publish
watching-
it twice, so June 2nd is the
enjoying watching
second.
Mike do the math in his head.
I'm just, that's where I'm going, well, that's a month, and that, we still got half a month left of this month. Then we
So you're
got
looking
next
in
month,
June
which is a
sometime.
full month, so.
So, yeah, we're just saying.
So I just need to keep a look at the paper to find out when that will be done.
Sounds like it's not gonna be until June.
Alrighty, so really quick, so our councilman, are you in favor of that?
I'm in favor of
Yeah.
this.
Councilman
Yeah.
Bundy, what's your
We
thoughts?
should have some other input also
Okay.
from the builder,
Okay,
right?
Can I ask
Council-
a question, Mayor?
so,
It'll be quick.
okay, I will let you, one time only, everybody. I will let her speak, but usually everyone has their opportunity to speak in the 3 minutes. After that, it's city council, so I'll let you ask.
Bring up the questions, I just want them answered. Okay, so it's gonna be delayed for a while, I understand that. You'll post it in the agenda, which comes out on a Friday, right? That is not gonna give us enough time to let people know about coming that following Monday, because you've got weekends involved. Is
Published
there any
twice.
way
It's
that we
pub-
can get
published
the
twice in the
notice?
newspaper.
2 weeks
for
notice.
14 days beforehand.
Okay.
We will make sure it's in the paper, social media, I'm sure.
Our new board out front?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could put it on the new reader board.
If you put your name and number.
Okay. Council, you got anything else?
Sorry, I interrupted.
Oh, sorry.
No, I'm just for this. I think a second city council public meeting is a good idea, public hearing.
Okay. All righty. Going down to item number 4, council agenda. Really quick, I just want to let the council know, Paul has been killing it. We wanted to bring another amenity to Mountain Home, and she's been able to work with the Carnival, Rainier Amusements, because we wanted to, seems like Idaho's been closed for a long time, and Mountain Home's open. We're open for business, we're open for community activities, I truly believe. And so I want to send a shout out to Paula on item number E, that May 28th through the 30th, we'll have a carnival at Railroad Park in downtown Mountain Home for Crazy Days.
I would take that as good event.
Thanks, Paula.
That's good.
Well, I know it was dropped a long time ago, but we'd like to bring that small town amenity back to Mountain Home and get that on a every year agenda. So
And then part of the negotiation is a portion of the ticket sales goes back to Light the Forest. So we'll be raising Christmas money if you come to put more stuff in the park.
So that's all I wanted to do. That's all I want to say on the consent agenda. So I'll shut up now. Councilman, do you have anything you want to talk about? Pull? Just any questions about?
Mayor?
Councilman Brennan?
Question on item F for staff.
Yeah.
This OpenGov software, this is a year-to-year purchase. It's not a long-term contract. Is that right?
It's a long-term contract.
It is. Does it go through the 2025?
I believe so, yeah.
Like a 5-year deal? And I guess follow-up, have the other, I'm sorry for like the assumption, but have the other departments agreed to this out of their budget on the 5-year plan?
Yes.
Okay, because the note that you wrote says it's specific for the 2021 billing cycle, and
Yeah,
so
that's for the very first billing cycle. As we use the software program, we're going to be able to have a better idea of how it should be better divvied out, and then we will go from there. That has been the general consensus of all of the department heads for that first year.
okay. Hank's good with that,
Thanks, excited.
and Fiber's good with that.
Yeah.
Who answered?
Paula.
Okay, perfect. Okay, that's all I have for that. Thank you. And then, Mayor,
Councilman Brennan?
item H.
Okay.
Just wanted to talk to Public Works here on this one. This is a really expensive purchase. Can you help justify it to the council and the need for it, and maybe some comparisons that you've ran?
Yes, Mayor Council. So what we're asking with this is it's a vac truck. It's specific. It doesn't, like the vac trucks we have right now are actually for sewer vac trucks because they have the reel on the front. And so the one that we've been using is the backup from the wastewater department. And so we've been kind of beating it up, so it's pretty used. I mean, these are a highly, a lot of moving parts on these machines. The big reason that we're looking at purchasing one for just the water department is because we have a lot of projects coming in, and so we need to be able to locate all of the utilities that are under the ground, power, gas, all of our sewer lines, all of our water lines, everything that's in there. So we know what the depths are, so we can be ready to, so it gets engineered, and that's the biggest piece with that. And the vac truck is the safest way to do it because we just don't want to take a backhoe and just start digging into the ground, which we're actually not supposed to anytime you're around any of the utilities. So that's it. This is the industry standard now. What everybody uses to do this. It is doesn't. It has a 360 kind of almost a 360 vacuum area, the tubing, so we can be able to get it into where it needs to go and different things like that. So that's the main reason we're purchasing, because we have a lot of projects that are coming up. We do help all the other departments when we need to find something to dig up, and so it is something that we probably take out. The one that we have now is probably out in at least 2 different jobs every day. So
This one's heavier dutier.
yeah, and this one's a little bit heavy duty.
How much is it?
That leads me to my next question. Can you describe the condition of the current one and why we need to replace it?
Well, the current one right now, it has 2 different water tanks, and they are spitting stuff out all over the place. So they need to be welded and fixed. We've already put on a new the tubing in the front, because the rocks that go through it, they hit them in a lot. They hit them in the same. This one they hit in the same place, because the one that we're going to purchase now has reinforced places, so it's hitting it in different places it goes through, so it doesn't just sit and beat up on one spot. And mostly we just got to make sure that we have it for if the main truck goes down for wastewater, that they have a backup to be able to use, and that's.
So we will be keeping the old one, not offsetting the cost by selling it?
No, we'll keep it for a backup. We need to have it for a backup, so we'll get the tanks refurbished and everything that needs to be done, so. Yep.
Okay, I had another question.
So I can, okay.
Oh yeah, the comparison stuff.
So we did, you asked me to look at like a used one and what they can do. Used ones are hard to find. And again, you get them mostly like with the MetroQuip, if they rent one out, or if they get a used one that came in, it's coming from a contractor, and they're used hard. So you might get a 2016 one, but those 4 years on that 18-inch blower and how much rock has come through, it's hard to tell how, we want it because we want to be able to take care of it and see what's happening with it, what's going on with it, so we can fix it as we go. So
does the lower price of a used one justify it, or?
I personally don't think that it does, because you're going to start off with maintenance of it right away. So.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor,
Councilman Bundy?
are you done?
For now, go ahead.
When we had our conversation about this, these are all great questions to answer and to talk about. I think we get back to second paragraph, last line, and I don't think you're overstating that the requirement is a must, and that's pretty strong language. I think we're to the point now where we have our projects coming, and we've looked at the finances, and the purpose of this right now that we're locking into for the next budget, because we're still a month ahead of our budget cycle, is the fact that this is such a high use item and a desirable item that the prices are rising. It's a kind of capitalism at its best, supply and demand, and we have the chance right now to lock in and potentially save ourselves money in the future. And so, I think we should work through our questions and make sure, but the research that I've done and the conversations that I've had is it is a high ticket item, and but a high ticket item that we need so that we can continue to provide safe, secure service to our citizens and project for the future also. So, whether we look at a used one, which didn't seem to be the plan, because then you're going into automatic maintenance. I think this is something a little out of the ordinary, where we're trying to get ahead of the power curve, and we've done this type of things with fire trucks also, where we have to project the future. I think it's a good idea.
Mr. Mayor.
Council, go ahead.
Mayor, Council, just off of that, you brought up a good case. I think the one thing is, it is kind of a safety issue. When they have to go out at night and do different things, especially in the cold, this actually has some spots where, because I've been out there at night when it's below freezing and you're out there working with water, this actually has a spot where this is a heated unit, so we can be able to do stuff in the cold. There's actually you can store like your coats and all the different things so they're warm. You can actually go into the cabinet area and warm yourself up for a minute, so you can kind of rotate people through. And I have told people that you need to get out of the hole and go sit in your truck and get warmed up. And so I think this is just one of those safety things where you're out there. You can go out anytime. And we're out there Saturday, so because Idaho Power went through a water line. So, but other than that, but they're out there all the time, and it is a safety issue, especially when you start digging and you're working around high pressure gas lines and doing different things where they are. This is so you don't get electric shock. There's just a lot of it's a safety issue, and thank you, Councilman Bundy.
Dave, how many times have you been in the hole filled with water trying to turn things off in the cold?
He is actually one that I made him get out of the hole and get in your truck and get warm, because I could tell he was Yes, so.
A lot.
Councilman Brennan?
I think my last question is, I'm glad Councilman Bundy had an opportunity to talk, kind of refresh my mind a little bit. But when we were having the discussion a few months back about the front end loader, there was a question raised about our ability to budget for something outside of the budget process. And I'm curious, I guess with legal, we're not spending money, but by this commitment letter, essentially, we are binding ourselves to a high ticket, a lot of money outside of the budget process. Is there any legal ramifications or negative
It
things with
has to
that?
be within your discretionary budget from whatever department that's coming out of. So, yes, there are ramifications if you don't have it, and binding future city councils as well. So you have to basically say it's in our budget, and this is something that we plan for in advance, and blah, blah, blah. So, yes.
So it's on our capital improvement plan for the water department. So that kind of checks one thing, right? It's a planned for item. But I guess, Paula, do I refer to you where we had a conversation and you said that there's a line item in our budget that would fully pay for this right now, or?
Yeah, there's future reserves. So if it was in this budget cycle, we could do that, because I read this wrong. I thought you needed that down payment. So, and then, so for the next budget process, that'll come back in front of you guys in June, and then this item will be in the water budget.
But at that point, we're not allowed to cancel it because we've committed to it, right?
I don't know. If
Well, it's got a non-appropriation clause, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So if we get in the next budget cycle, you guys are like, nope, I don't want it.
I would imagine,
Sorry, are you doing a lease purchase?
right outright.
Won't have a non-appropriation.
Yeah, so Mayor
Oh,
Council,
you're just buying it?
we're just gonna buy it outright.
So it's not a lease. Okay, good. I just wanted to make sure.
Okay.
So I would think that we could certainly, they would sell to somebody else, so. But I'm sure they would. I actually know that they would probably be able to sell to somebody else. So they're hard to get, and so.
I don't suspect that would happen. I just want to make sure that with
They do have-
with our many discussions about the front end loader and the budget there, that we're not essentially doing the same thing.
I truthfully, last year on a price, but we were looking at one that, this Coy Wolf this is the first time it's came out that actually went to the source well. We looked at one that I actually was gonna come to you, if this truck that we have right now was kind of getting beat up, I was just gonna come to you and ask to approve something that wasn't in the budget, to get a smaller one to get right away, because how our vac truck was, getting used right now. But I thought, well, I'm gonna put this off and get in the CIP and do it in a budget. So I guess one reason the price is higher is because I waited to make sure that I get it the right way instead of just asking you for it. I knew I had the money in the budget to do it, but this was not in that source well before, and it finally got put on there because it's a great item. Somebody bid it out to what it was doing, so,
I think what he's trying to do, Councilman, is just make sure you're gonna be good with it so we can go into the next year's budget.
Right.
If you're all good with it, I mean, yeah, tentatively you could say, no, I don't want it in the next year's budget, but he's trying to get it locked in at a good price. Cause like I said, in the computer chip,
well, it went
factory
out.
burn down, or, I mean.
In the last, like I said, in the last 7 months, it went up
Wait.
$54,000.
Wait.
Yeah.
Move your mouse to.
I wanna hear that.
I broke it. Yes.
There it goes.
Okay,
So in the last 7 months, it went up $54,000 because of steel and the price of the dollar and different things. So they actually are giving us a $15,000 discount off of that because we've used them for the last two back trucks that we've had, and actually dump trucks and some different things. So they gave us a discount on that. So
And Mr. Mayor?
Councilman
I
Buddy?
think I answered that. I can't remember what you had from that.
And I think it's a valid point. Since we're a little ahead of our budget cycle, we're not obligating a future council. It's this council's decision on the spending. But yeah, we're well within our budgetary constraints and rights to go ahead and make this a budgetary issue, because we have the money. I mean, we could open up a supplemental and put it into the 21, but we don't need to. We can go ahead and have it now and put it in the July budget.
Because we won't get this probably until spring next year, so.
Spring of next year?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, Councilman, any other questions on any of the other line items?
Mr. Mayor,
Councilman Stokes?
I'd like to make a motion to pass the consent agenda as printed.
Mayor,
Councilman Brennan?
sorry, last item, I'd like to remove item G from the consent agenda.
I second the motion.
So Paul, how does that work? I got a motion, a second. Councilman Brennan wants to pull G.
I can let him, you can go ahead and ask your question. then.
Do you concede to withdraw your motion? And or do you wish to have your motion, have the question called?
I'll concede the motion.
Okay.
Withdraw.
Withdraw.
So you're pulling G?
Yes, please.
Okay. Councilman, do I hear a motion to approve the consent agenda pulling G?
Mr. Mayor,
Councilman
I'd
Stokes?
like to make a motion to pass the consent agenda pulling item G.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Do we have any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the question. Councilman Stokes?
Aye.
Councilman McCain?
Aye.
Councilman Brennan?
Aye.
Councilman Bundy?
Aye.
Down to old business, there was none. New business, items removed for the consent agenda, which was G. Councilman Brennan?
Mayor, on the quote for concrete for 3rd Street project, I'd like to send that out for an official open bid for any company, because when we only get one, I don't have anything to compare it to, and as a councilman, I feel like it's in my best, it's my job to make sure that we are paying an appropriate price. And without having another bid, I understand that like we asked other people to give a bid, but these are local companies, so to speak. I'd just like to send it out for an official bid, even if we have to advertise it in the paper, so that I have a comparison.
So Rich, didn't we send it out to local bidders?
You got 4.
4?
Mayor, council, yeah, we email it to each of these 3 companies. We had a meeting before the date was done, so they could come and walk through the project to look at it if they wanted to. The only person that came to look at it that day was Utardi Concrete, and then they put in a bid after that. So
And for the record, what were the companies that were that you sent it out to?
we send it out to Bettiganet Construction, C2 Construction, and then Guho. So
And
they've all
then
had a chance to,
Utardi
and
as
then
well. So
Utardi.
4 total? Okay.
Mayor?
Councilman Brennan?
I know we have a plethora of concrete companies in town in addition to that list of 4. And even if it's an out-of-town company that would just give us a comparison number, that's all I'm asking for. I don't know if this is an outrageously high number or not. So that's all I'm asking for, is to send it back out to bid. So, Mayor?
Council.
Oh, Brian.
Go ahead, Rich.
Sorry, when we projected, we projected the cost somewhere about 155,000 when we looked at our inside costs when we were looking at doing it. So, but again, we did that before a lot of prices have been going up too. So.
So Paul, we how does that work then? I know we've sent it out.
Mayor?
Councilman Bundy?
We had 4 legitimate companies take a look at this. We have Guho, that's a regional contractor. We did get one bid, does happen to be a local business. It fell pretty close to what our city experts are predicting it to be. Concrete is doing nothing but going up. It's extremely difficult to find contractors at the moment. I'm comfortable with this. I think we should question it. I'm glad that we had the conversation. But when we put it out to 4 legitimate bids, and this is what we got back, and one of them being a regional that had full access to subcontractors, I think this is a good bid. Mr. Mayor,
Councilman Bundy?
I make a motion that we approve the request to proceed with North 3rd East Street Reconstruction Project from East 8th North to East 15th North.
Second.
It's been motion and second. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the question. Councilman Bundy?
Aye.
Councilman Stokes?
Aye.
Councilman Brennan?
Nay.
Councilman McCain?
Aye.
All right, discussion decision of recommendation from the Airport Advisory Committee to leave tie-down fees, currently have it in place and allow the airport manager operator to waive said fees at his discretion. Councilman?
Mayor?
Councilman Brennan?
The memo we received talks about the FBO having the discretion to waive, and we have multiple FBOs, and only one person should be able to make that decision. So I guess I would just ask that the record reflect that it's truly the airport manager / operator.
Typo probably. Was that a typo, Rich? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I put it on the agenda the way he's requesting, because I noticed that their recommendation said FBO, but on the agenda I put airport manager / operator.
Okay.
Mayor,
Councilman Brennan?
Nina, I just want to make sure, was the airport committee's intent to be the manager, not the FBO?
I don't know.
It was.
Okay.
With the corrected with the way it's described in the discussion decision on the agenda, do I hear any for or against? I guess, or go ahead, Councilman Brennan. Sorry.
If there's nothing else, I'd make a recommendation to approve the airport advisory committee. I'm sorry, the airport advisory committee's recommendation to leave tie-down fees currently in place and allow the airport manager operator to waive said fees at his or her discretion.
Second.
It's been motion and second. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the question. Councilman McCain?
Aye.
Councilman Brennan?
Aye.
Councilman Bundy?
Aye.
Councilman Stokes?
Aye.
All right, discussion decision on request from Richard McKenna Charter Schools to be waived and refund building permit fees paid for addition to the school building located at 1325 East 8th North Street. Councilman?
Mayor?
Councilman Brennan?
I had a question on this one. Let me pull up the right packet here. So, Dennis, you're here, right? Yes. Okay. Can I address him directly?
Absolutely.
I wanted to ask about the ordinance. I'm sorry, not the ordinance, but your request to waive the fees. In looking at this, I'm curious what kind of a partnership the city has with you and your school in terms of like recreational activities. Do you support the recreational activities of our city?
Yeah, we do.
Okay.
Get the information, we post it out there, give the information to the kids, and encourage them to go participate.
Okay. I've been advised that the Mountain Home School District, as well as Elmore County, when we waive their fees, they often allow us the use of their facilities for, the school district for, for gyms and that stuff at no additional cost. It's like sharing the price tag on the taxpayer, right? So we waive it, and I guess curious if you're willing to help us use your recreational facilities in lieu of that.
All we have is a small gym, so we have to see what activities they would like to have in there. It is a small elementary gym, that's what
Or any ball fields, or?
No, we just have open field, we have no developed ball fields, we have an outdoor basketball court, that's
Sure.
too.
Okay.
So it's all developed for elementary kids, so it would just depend on what the activity is.
Okay.
Because it's not suitable for all activities.
Okay. And where I was going with that was the county. You know, we waive their fees too, but they're happy to provide legal services at no cost to the city for projects that benefit all the population of the city and the county without additional fees there. So I'm just trying to figure out how we can work together. I'm not asking essentially like your answer depends on my vote by any means. That's not the case, but I'm hoping we can work together to share that cost, you know.
Well, before COVID, we had the AAU volleyball coach come and talk to us. And it didn't work out because of the size of the gym.
Sure.
But we were actually willing to work with them, but it's not big enough for them for their practices, so it didn't work out with them because of the size.
Okay.
So that's an example of what I'm talking about. It just depends on what the activity is and if it's suitable space for it.
Hey, Tiff, do we have, oh, sorry, Councilman.
I think you're gonna ask what I was
Same.
going. Go ahead.
How about basketball for the little ones?
Yeah,
Sorry, Darcy, I guess I should.
Yeah, we reached out to try to put in a specific grade school team, and I think at that time they actually wanted to charge us to use their gym space. So we retracted from playing within their facility and just continued to offer our program through the school district 193. But if he's willing, like, we'll gladly use it for gym. We use the grade school, well, Darcy uses the grade schools to offer youth basketball to that age group of kids, so.
Go ahead, Darcy, I'm sorry.
Thank you. So, yes, Tiffany is correct. We did reach out, I believe it was the year before COVID, right? And I don't know, in this town, we are limited for facilities with recreation. We need all the facilities we can to provide kids a safe place to recreate. Basketball, volleyball, I mean, the sky's the limit. We have drone programs, you know, just the city offers, but also other, I guess, competitive leagues need places to practice. There's all of the fight for facility usage. And I guess looking forward, I don't know what's going to happen with the school district if we're going to be allowed to use their facilities because of the COVID restrictions. But it is a need for our community to have a place for kids to go play ball or something. So that would be a great partnership with the city and McKenna to have access to that facility.
I just watched, I just watched the World Tournament of Pickleball. Is that something you'd be willing to, you know, if it's for adults and kids? I don't, you know.
That is great, yes.
Is that something you'd want to partner with the city on?
I'll have to look at it. I'm not gonna make a commitment right here, but I'm gonna consider it.
That's all the questions I had, sorry.
Mr. Mayor?
Councilman stuff.
May I address Dennis as well?
Absolutely.
Dennis, I also noticed that your youth are helping our library as well with the bake sale. So they're a public entity. They're helping the community as a whole, and I appreciate that, and I'm in probably favor of this.
We do a lot of volunteer service for the community. Our kids are required to have 30 hours of community service every year. Unfortunately, with COVID, we haven't been able to do that because they haven't been able to get out. So there's a lot of community support from our students as we put them out there in the community, volunteer and youth. Talking about the library, we also did a fundraiser today for the Humane Society.
Oh, great.
So
Thanks, Dennis.
lots of things like that.
Mr. Mayor?
Councilman Buddy.
So I'm looking at this letter from Hank here. Mr. Yukiti, we've got the building permit and the plan review. Are those the fees that we standard that we waive for public entities, public schools, things like that? So this is pretty much in line with what we normally do. Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Alrighty.
Mr. Mayor?
Councilman Stokes.
I'll make a motion to approve the request from Richard McKenna Chartered Schools to waive and refund building permit fees paid for the addition to the school building located at 1325 East 8th North Street.
Second.
The motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the question. Councilman Stokes.
Aye.
Councilman Bundy.
Aye.
Councilman McCain.
Aye.
Councilman Brennan. And then discussion decision on Planning and Zoning Commission recommendation to approve request Green Sleeves Properties for a conditional use permit to allow the expansion and enlargement of a non-conforming structure located at 290 South 2nd East Street. Councilman.
Mayor?
Councilman Brennan.
I don't see any problem with this. The planning and zoning, I think, unanimously recommended approval. So I'll make a motion to approve planning and zoning's recommendation for Green Sleeves Properties for a conditional use permit to allow the expansion and enlargement of a non-conforming structure located at 290 South 2nd East Street.
Second.
The motion is second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the question. Councilman Brennan.
Aye.
Councilman Bundy.
Aye.
Councilman McCain.
Aye.
Councilman Stokes.
Aye.
We'll run down to the discussion decision. Oh, never mind, that one's pulled. We'll run down to item number 7. We'll start out with ordinance amending Title 9, Chapter 8, Section 3, Subsection B, Chapter 16, Section 13B, subsection B, adding a pathway requirement. Action item.
Mr. Mayor,
Councilman Bundy.
I make a motion that we suspend the three reading rule and read this ordinance by title only for its one and only reading tonight.
Whew, thank you.
You're welcome.
And,
That motion dies for lack of second.
Second.
Second it. It's been motion and second. I'll call for, is there any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the question. Councilman Bundy?
Aye.
Councilman Brendan?
Aye.
Councilman McCain?
Aye.
Councilman Stokes? Tiffany, will you please read the ordinance?
Get some lip balm. We've been talking.
no doubt. An ordinance of this city of Mountain Home, Idaho, amending Title 9, Chapter 8, Section 3B, access to a public street, and Title 9, Chapter 16, Section 13B, design standards of the Mountain Home City Code of Mountain Home, Idaho, by adding a pathway requirement and approving and providing an effective date.
Councilman, you've heard this ordinance read. Do you wish it to pass? Councilman Stokes?
Aye.
Councilman McCain?
Aye.
Councilman Brennan?
Aye.
Councilman Bundy?
Aye.
Run down to ordinance. Annex a Leap Charity property located on South 5th West. Action item.
Mr. Mayor,
Councilman Bundy.
make a motion that we suspend the three reading rule and read this ordinance by title only for its one and only reading tonight.
Second.
Been motion and second. For any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the question. Councilman McCain.
Aye.
Councilman Stokes.
Aye.
Councilman Brennan.
Aye.
Councilman Bundy.
Aye.
Tiffany, will you please read the ordinance?
An ordinance annexing to the city of Mountain Home, Idaho, the real property hereinafter described and declaring the same by proper legal description thereof to be part of the city of Mountain Home, Idaho, and providing an effective date.
Councilman, you've heard this ordinance read. Do you wish it to pass? Councilman Brennan.
Aye.
Councilman Bundy.
Aye.
Councilman Stokes.
Aye.
Councilman McCain.
Aye.
Alrighty, we'll run down to the next ordinance. Zoning R4 Leap Housing property located on South 5th West. Action item.
Mr. Mayor,
Councilman Bundy.
make a motion that we suspend the three reading rule and read this ordinance by title only for its one and only reading tonight.
Second.
Come on, Mike.
It's been motioned and seconded. I'll call for the question. Councilman.
That's one should have been, because this you got to read all, I read all the four north by northwest by.
It's been motioned and second. I'll call for the question. Councilman Stokes.
Aye.
Councilman McCain.
Aye.
Councilman Brennan.
Aye.
Councilman Bundy.
Aye.
Tiffany, please read the ordinance.
An ordinance of the city of Mountain Home, Idaho, declaring the real property hereinafter described to be part of residential R4 zone, subject to limitations of allowed use, repealing all ordinances or parts of the ordinance in conflict herewithin, and providing an effective date.
Councilman, you've heard this ordinance read. Do you wish it to pass? Councilman Bundy.
Aye.
Councilman Brennan.
Aye.
Councilman McCain.
Aye.
Councilman Stokes.
Aye.
All right, final comments. Jake, what do you got? Thanks, Jake. Kay? No, I'm just kidding.
I'm good with that.
No.
See, I'm the only one that stood up for you. I want you to remember that.
Water irrigation. So Brad brought it to our attention that there's been people asking questions about irrigation and stuff. So, just real quick. So like the irrigation, the sprinklers, I don't have time during the day to like go through and check, make sure they're all watering where they're supposed to be watering. So they'll come out of adjustment, you know. So lots of times, most golf courses have an irrigation tech. They'll go through the day and check those. So if people see it watering the street, I want them to let me know, because I don't see it because it's watering at night. And then I also want to let the public know that the golf course is actively trying to eliminate turf, put in areas to try to save more water, you know. And you guys know that, but I just want to, with the discussions with the water lately, I just want to get that out there that we're trying our best to to use water more appropriately, or just be more responsible with our water use. And then another thing, today, high school tournament, there was about 100 golfers out there, so pretty big deal for them. So, and we're just maintaining the course. So.
we want to let the citizens know that this council in its body, we did change out all the sprinkler heads to mitigate that water usage, and with Shake's turf reduction mitigated close to 1 million gallons or so, 800,000.
That's what I was watering. Now I'm in July, we're about 600,000, you know, in our hot times.
Right.
So we were close to 850.
Right.
And I mean, we're still, it's just time, you know, so.
Right.
We're still gonna keep working towards trying to eliminate water where we can.
Hank.
Super busy that time of year, so you guys know about all the commercial stuff going on. E&P did pick up they submitted a demolition permit application for the Meyer across the street, so it sounds like they might be moving over there.
Demolition? Is that what you said?
Yeah, of the interior, moving walls, carpet.
Yeah.
They're not taking it
We
down.
call it remodel.
Remodel. And Craig, and how's that coming?
As far as
Well, I get there's a few houses that are.
Oh yeah. The major problem one, I'm not sure if I can use the name. Brittamead's
Again.
Still, I think. East 10th. Anyway, they COVID. They're quarantined in the house for 14 days. Nothing will move on that property.
And then what is it, 10th? Wasn't there one on 10th or?
That's on 10th.
Oh, you 10th this way or 10th this way? 9 is 10th.
East 10th is freedom.
890 East 10th, I believe.
Oh. All right, I just there's.
It's a problem.
Okay.
We're working on it.
Working on it. All right, David.
We'll be downtown. Downtown's getting started up, so we'll be doing some sprinkler stuff down there. Parks to get their stuff signed in there, and then be working over with Keller on College Park, getting that designed out.
So, you guys, thanks for having to go and fix that on Saturday.
Yeah, they're a good crew. They all went out there. Everybody just got out there and did what we had to do and get it done. So it's a good crew.
I'll tell them thank you. Chief.
It's Police Week, so I know it's placed today a couple times for their activities out there. Pretty exciting stuff going on there. Working through our lieutenant promotional process and our certified officer hiring process mostly this week.
Shirley?
Mowing, spraying, getting ready for the first alfalfa harvest, probably next week. And the guys are just cleaning the TV.
Doris?
At Recreation, we have a new staff member on board, so we've been trying to fit in some training at this point. It's going pretty well. We're working on our t-ball and softball rosters. Those, we have a meeting tomorrow with our coaches, so that's off and running. We have some big plans for summer programs like adventure camp and that kind of things. Everything's we gotta get ready, so here we go. Doing some repairs and maintenance on some of our buildings. We worked with the streets guys and put some lines on the new basketball court out at Ridgecrest, so that's kind of fun. And we're just doing some fundraising, continual fundraising for the fitness court that's going to be out there at the walking path area on 3rd and McMurtry. So
How short are you?
30,000.
I just gave her $4,100 today. Hey, don't tell my wife.
We're working on that.
Short 30,000 for what?
The fitness park.
Fitness park.
Chief.
Mayor, Council, this Thursday after training, I'm going to be leaving for Idaho Fire Chiefs Association meeting. I'll be up there for the weekend. Of particular interest to me on this particular association meeting is going to be impact fees and also annexation. And also, my guy I really like, Gordon Graham, is going to be up there on risk reduction and things. So definitely thanks for future of the department. It gives me a good opportunity to network with other fire chiefs in Idaho that are going through or have gone through growth and so forth. So looking forward to some good interaction there. We also are doing a bit of remodeling, refurbishing over at the fire station, getting it a little more modernized. It is going to be our intent. So we're doing some paint work over there. Time to get it all said and done, it should be really nice. Looking to have the pictures. We're going to modernize it to the chagrin of some of the firefighters that sent us to the last meeting, but we're going to go with modern colored pictures on our wall downstairs for the public to see, and upstairs we'll have our old-timey ones with the black and white. So we'll be able to kill two birds with one stone. One of the things we're going to do an exploratory on this and see how much interest we have within the department, but kicking around the idea of maybe going down and participating at the farmers market, almost like a booth type thing, for fire education on some various things, fire safety stuff, wildland urban interface information, get that out, and very possibly do a little exploratory on developing, see what interest people have in the department itself. So maybe do a bit of a recruiting type thing as well for out there, see what we've got in the public.
Fantastic.
The last thing that I have is on the May 29th, we're going to be out there in Forest Crazy Days. That's our biggest fundraiser for the 4th of July. So we're going to be out there and working to get as many donations as we can.
Rich?
Public Works is busy. We had, Dave says some things about the water. They did move a fire hydrant downtown, so move it from one corner to another corner, and in that downtown project. Street department, they've had a truck down there helping them move some dirt and some different things to help them clean up that first block. So you can see they kind of getting that first block prepped. So it looks good. Things just bringing that street out. It's gonna be awesome. So that's been good stuff. The Keller has been out to their surveyors have been out on over by College Park on the 12th, 13th, and then 6th and some of 9th. So for our next project, so they've gotten surveyed everything. So they'll get with us to see what needs to be potholed, to find all the services. That's why we need a van truck eventually, and some things like that. Let's see, I'm sure you're going to go back to Shirley. You just missed her. Is that how that was, or did she talk?
Shirley talked.
Did I miss her?
Yeah.
Oh, that was quick. I didn't hear you. Must have been not paying attention. I was sleeping on her. Darn. Dang. I was going to tell you, farm's going good. They're out there doing that stuff. Airports, work on the terminal, cleaned up, painted. Thanks, Mayor and everybody, and Paula and Tiffany and Nina coming out there and helping and working out there doing stuff, getting all dirty. That was awesome. The mayor set that up for Thursday, painted the outside. Mike, what's it? Luan. Had Luan. It was an L. Luan. He was that. He painted the whole outside and did an awesome job. So they've been pumping fuel. I think there's 600 gallons of fuel the other day with the plane, so that was good. And they're going well. So just lots of good stuff happening.
Rich, is the airport manager up for like an open house at the airport at some point?
I'm sure once they get everything doing that, they plan on doing some things like having a barbecue on Friday out there for people to fly in and do some things. And but I think once the terminal's cleaned up and repainted and ready to go, they'll start doing some stuff out there. Yeah.
I know. Or actually, sorry, Tiffany.
Well, Mayor and Council, I've just diligently been learning as much as I can from Nina the last couple weeks, so that's all I got.
Paula.
Mayor and Council, this year for the budget presentation skill will be a little different. It'll be a little change. We're trying to, as the department heads, what is it? Executive leadership team. We are meeting together as a group, and we will kind of look at everyone's budget and see what their projects are, how we can work together on that, and then we'll do the presentation to the council all at once. And then been working with the chamber on Crazy Days, making sure that we're helping provide what we need for that event.
Councilman, what do you got? Any questions for department heads?
No. Thanks.
Oh shoot, Brock, I'm sorry.
I was in trouble.
Oh no, I'm so sorry, Brock.
Item 9, Brock.
Item 9.
Item 9.
Is he item 9? I didn't know. That's
I'm sorry, Brock.
You know I'm a warrior too.
I know. Went around all the way around. I was like, okay, we're done.
Sit on the edge.
You gotta sit on the edge, yeah.
I know. So, City Council, this Friday, the Mountain Home Adult Training Academy is going to be having a open house and welcome celebration. I believe all of you have personalized invites that are in the mail coming your way. The part that you really should be there for, if you are able to, is going to be at 1:30 p.m. May 14th, 2021. So that's this Friday at 170 North Main Street. That's where there's going to be just some welcoming remarks. We'll have the mayor. I don't even think he knows it yet. He's going to welcome them.
Yeah, I found out today.
Yeah, he's gonna welcome the chamber as well, and also the school's president, David Porter, is gonna say a few things and just get things started and get people excited and know that the school is operating right now, that because of COVID, they do have online offerings so that we can have our students start this fall and then hopefully have that brick and mortar campus ready by late winter. So that's a big one. And then we have a bunch of other stuff, but I did get my housing statistics for the month of April, and it's something I really like sharing. Total homes sold this last month, 41. Median sales price, $308,000. I bet a lot of people here in Mountain Home, especially our longtime residents, never thought that it would have that value this soon. It has been accelerated. Your average price per square foot is $175.16. Average days on market, 8. And we have a month supply of 0.17. You will be having housing proposals brought to you in the future. Thunderbolt was one. Know that there is a learning curve, that we are receiving proposals that we haven't seen before. And I like to quote, Mr. Bundy, because he knows I'm a young gun and I get really excited and I want to go fast. But sometimes to ensure that things go appropriately and we don't miss anything, the wheels of government need to turn a little bit slower.
Diligently.
But know that there will be hard decisions brought to you concerning housing. That it's an issue. It's something that we need to solve in order to help with our relationship with the Air Force Base or our industrial park that's coming up. They need housing for people. Right now, if a new company comes in, I can't find housing for 5 people. That's an issue. And then there's the issue of our most valuable export that we really don't want to export, which is our youth, which is our young talent. We don't have options for them either. So it's going to take a Herculean effort. We have a fantastic planning and zoning commission who's there to assist you. I love working with you, and just know that in the coming months, we're probably going to have some longer meetings together. But know that anything worth doing takes time, and anything worth doing is hard. Other than that, things go great on my end. Planning and zoning does well. Economic development's happening. A lot of people have caught attention of the industrial rail park. I have a meeting with an entity. I signed an NDA, so I can't tell you, but I get to be like, I'm meeting with someone, but you can't know, so I get to kind of wave that in front of you. But people are seriously interested in that industrial rail park. One of the reasons that they are seriously interested is because there is a housing component that is in the works right now, which is going to help provide for that. So that's very exciting, and I hope that I have good news to report in the future, that people are coming to Mountain Home. We're on the map. Know that everyone I speak to, I kind of like it because they're kind of surprised. They're like, what is happening in Mountain Home? Like, that's where everyone's going. When I speak to any realtor from the Treasure Valley, they know that this is where people want to be. People have finally found this hidden gem that we've known has been amazing all along, so we should be proud of it.
Alrighty. Councilman, you got anything?
Mayor, I just got a question for Brock.
Go ahead,
Hey,
Councilman.
Brock, has anybody been working on getting that switch changed on the track so we can actually start using that section?
Yes. So, the industrial rail park, especially the rail portion, the switch portion, has probably been the most difficult. Not that working with other government agencies are difficult, but we all have our own timelines. We have received consultation from the Union Pacific Railroad that it may not be in our best interest to do significant refurbishment of certain rail just because specific users have different uses and they don't want to see us pulling something out. It's more, I'm not even going to try to know what I'm talking about. But they have given us other recommendations of what we can do with the rail. A lot of it is getting a lot of the dirt off of it and doing some cleanup of it. And they have given us some third-party bids on that work. So we do have monies associated to refurbish that rail. And I'm happy to tell you that we finally have found a way that we can use it so that the park can move forward and that we can get it as close to shovel ready as possible so that it is more favorable for whoever wants to be the end user.
Okay, great. That's what I was curious about is can we get it to where we're ready to go on it towards that? Thank you very much.
We got to train them. Less is more. Yes. We had an email Thursday.
Yeah.
So, and then they're the one that got us the third-party entity. But yes, we're ready to rock. I'm excited. Because how long we've been waiting for that? 6 months? All right, Councilman. Run down. If you don't have anything, we'll run down to item number 9. Run down to item number 9, executive session pursuant to Idaho Code Section 74206, subsection 1, subsection B, to consider the evaluation, dismissal, or discipline of, or to hear complaints or charges brought against a public officer, employee, or staff member.
Mayor.
Councilman Brennan.
I make a motion to enter executive session pursuant to Idaho Code 74-206, subsection 1, subsection B, to consider the evaluation, dismissal, or disciplining of, or to hear complaints or charges brought against a public officer, employee, or staff member.
Second. It's been motioned and second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the question. Councilman Buddy. Aye. Councilman Brennan.
Aye.
Councilman McCain.
Aye.
Councilman Stokes.
Aye.
All righty. Run